Hey guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back. My name is Hadassah Jade, and today's video is all about what I read in June and July, plus what I'm trying to read in August. I'm a huge mood reader, and I also was in such a big reading slump for the past, honestly, this entire year so far. As you guys will see, I did not read that much in the past 2 months, but I have a pretty ambitious list for what I want to read in August so that I can catch up with my reading goal, which is 50 reads for the year, which is pretty big for me because I work full time and I have been getting in reading slumps very often. I'm trying really hard to finish these books and actually get back to just enjoying them and wanting to get into these worlds. I'm really excited for what I picked for August, and we'll see if I actually finish them. But either way, I'm going to show you guys. This is my what I read stack. We've got 4 books, which is better than nothing, okay? There's no set number that you have to read every month, you know? First book that I read, Attached at the Hip by Christine Riccio. If you guys don't know, she is one of the OG booktubers. When I found out that she became an author, I was so excited to read her books. The first book she came out with is called Again But Better. I loved that book. I didn't read her second book, but I did want to read this because I heard that it was a mix of Survivor and The Bachelor. I'm a huge reality TV fan, and so I knew I had to read it. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I gave it 3 stars, 3.5 stars maybe. Yeah, we'll say 3.5, maybe 4. It was a really enjoyable read. I will say when I got towards the middle to end, it slowed down a little bit for me. I was a little less interested, but I still thoroughly enjoyed the book. Me and my boyfriend read it together because we have our own little book club, and this was our second book that we read together. And yeah, it was really good. If you guys are looking for some just really fun, interesting vibes with a romance and you want to mix it up some, I definitely recommend, because it's still got some of the cheesy romance in it, but they're also literally on Survivor, so there's some really fun aspects to it. Next is Girl Abroad by Elle Kennedy. I've never read any of her books, but I've heard great things about them, and when I heard that this book was set in London, I was like, oh, I have to read, because I actually went to London. If you guys haven't seen my previous vlog, I went to London for the first time in July, and so I read this before just to prepare and get in the mindset. I will say I did not enjoy this book that much. I think I gave it maybe 2.5, 3 stars. Probably 2.5. I think 2.5 maybe. It was okay. I really disliked the main character. I just didn't really care that much about what was going on with her and the relationships that much, which I feel there's a lot of good books that I read where I still disliked the character, but I cared a lot about the plot or just even their development. And this, I just didn't really care that much. It still was enjoyable. There were some good moments. It was funny at times and cute, but I just didn't really care. The love interest, I was meh. The girl, I didn't really like her. I did like that it was set in London though, but I will say there's a subplot in it about a project that she's doing at school. When I tell you, that was my favorite part of the book. If the book was centered around that, I probably would have eaten this book up a lot more. Would I recommend? Maybe you guys might like it more than I did. It was okay. Throne of Glass. Finally got into the Sarah J Maas hype. I will say I enjoyed this book. I think I gave it 4 stars. Don't hate me if you love this series, because I know a lot of people do. I think it was slightly overrated, just slightly. And that might be my own fault, just because I went into it knowing how hyped up it is and thinking, oh my gosh, it's gonna be great. I love fantasy and I love romantasy. So knowing that this was so hyped up, I was oh my gosh, I'm gonna go into this and I'm gonna love it. Probably should have had my expectations at a normal level. The last book that I read and finished in June and July is probably my favorite read that I had in June and July, which is Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney. I read Normal People before this, and I watched the TV show actually before I read the book, which I know you're not supposed to do, but I enjoyed the show more than the book. I thought the book was okay. Her writing style is slightly annoying sometimes with no quotation marks, but I think that she does an incredible job of making the characters fully rounded, I guess, like three-dimensional. Even though I may not like them, I still like want to read about them just because they feel real, you know? And so it's interesting to read about their lives and what they're going through, especially with this book. I think the character's name is Eileen. Loved her. That's my girl. I loved Eileen and I loved her love interest. The other two characters in the book, I did not like very much. Whenever their point of views came up, I was like, kind of ready for this to be done. I want to go back to Eileen. But I still thoroughly enjoyed this book, especially just like seeing the female friendships in this book, or female friendship in this book, and then just like them dealing with love and relationships and simply existing in the world and all these big questions that they have about existence and love and just all these things. I just thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm a big fan of like books that are just like characters and vibes over plot sometimes, which is crazy because I get into so many reading slumps. Maybe that's why, I don't know. But sometimes like I just want a vibe, you know, like because I mainly read fantasy, and so when I want to break from fantasy, I like to read books like this where like there's no world building. It is simply just like seeing a character like go through something at a certain point in their life, or like existing and seeing them like just navigate the things. Like I just love it. I just love when it's like not really a plot, just vibes, because I don't know, I enjoy it. But yeah, this was my favorite that I read out of all of June and July. I think I gave it maybe like 4.5 stars. Yeah. Now I have like 3 books to mention that are like overflow from June and July. Like I started them, I maybe like halfway through, but did not get to finish them. One is Lucy Foley's The Midnight Feast. I'm reading that on audiobook, or listening to it on audiobook. I don't actually have a physical copy, but I'm enjoying it so far, which is kind of surprising because I read Lucy Foley's guest list and it was okay. I didn't really think it was that good. I think I started to enjoy it like at the beginning towards the middle, and then the end just kind of fell flat to me. So I honestly, when I finished that, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna read another Lucy Foley book, because when I read like a thriller or a mystery, like I want tension, I want it to be exciting, you know, like a lot going on. But I saw that this was on audiobook and it sounded really good, and it's set in like Ireland, I believe. I'm enjoying it so far. I love anytime I get to hear from Eddie's perspective. Next book that is an overflow is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. This is a sci-fi, and I'm not usually that into sci-fis, more of just like a fantasy type of gal. Almost halfway through, and I'm enjoying it. I will say that I've been reading it kind of sporadically, which is kind of making the experience a little less great as it could be. I read like a chapter before bed, or like listen to the audiobook and then go back to reading, and so I feel all over the place. And this is like, there's a lot of building that's going on, I feel like, with the world and the structure of things that you need to pay attention to. So there is that. Overall, I'm really enjoying the book. This is my stack for August, my August TBR. Plethora of genres in here, which is great for a mood reader. So let's just dive in. The first book is 7 Summers. I haven't heard that much about this book, but it's just a summery, easy read romance, I believe. I don't actually know what it's about, but I'm going to the beach next weekend, and I feel like this will be perfect to like knock out, hopefully, in that weekend. We'll see. But yeah, I feel like this is a last hurrah for the last like full month of summer. So I'm gonna try to read this, and hopefully I'll enjoy it, because I do kind of miss reading romances. Like I said, I haven't read them that much in a while, but I want to get back into it, so we'll see. Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. I got this book, I think, in January, and you'll see a trend of me starting books and not finishing them because I'm not in the mood. But I did enjoy what I did read of this so far, and after reading Beautiful World, Where Are You? I'm just like craving more books where it's like just about someone's life and like their experiences and their vibing and existing and just all those things. I know this is obviously nonfiction and that was fiction, Beautiful World, Where Are You? But it's still that same concept of just like reading about someone's life more than like a plot per se, I guess. Next is another nonfiction. This is The Body Keeps Score. If you guys haven't seen this book, it's a pretty popular one. It came out a while ago, but it is about basically how trauma gets stored in your body and affects you physically, and just like the kind of connection between mind, body things. And so I am very excited to finally read this because I've heard like amazing things about it, and I really want to focus on becoming healthier spiritually, physically, mentally in the month of August. And I think this will really help with just becoming more in tune with myself. Nightingale, yet again, another book that I started and did not finish, but this book is by Kristen Hanna. If you haven't heard of this book, it's a huge, like a really popular one. As you know, Kristen Hanna is a very popular author, and this is the only book that I've ever started or have of hers, but I know that she is an incredible writer, and I know so many people who love her books, so I wanted to see what it was all about. And when I tell you, like I've only read, I think, like 60-ish pages, and I can already tell she's such a beautiful writer. Like the characters feel so real, and I feel like I'm there and experiencing the things with them and alongside them because of the way that she writes. And I'm just really excited to dive into this because I'm a huge fan of historical fiction. It's about like two sisters during World War II and how they're, surviving with the war, and then love and relationships and family. And it's just a beautiful book so far, and so I'm really excited to finally finish it. Funny Story by Emily Henry. I bought this book in the UK, and so I want to keep it beautiful. It's a beautiful cover, and I'm really excited to finally get into this. I haven't read an Emily Henry book in a hot minute. I started Happy Place, I think last summer, and didn't finish it, not because I didn't enjoy it. I just, again, was not in the mood. But I really miss Emily Henry's writing and how like easy it is to get into the romances that she creates. And so I want to read this. I don't really know what it's about, going in kind of blind, but I know a lot of people have been loving it. And this version is so, it's kind of like, it's not the floppiest, but like, it's one of those you want to like just sit down and crack open in bed, because like the words are pretty big and it's paperback, and I'm excited to read this. The Ministry of Time. This is a sci-fi, and again, guys, I told you I'm starting to get into sci-fi, so why not read another one? I've heard that this is like amazing. I don't know what it's about. Again, I'm trying to like go into these a little blind, and like hopefully I'll enjoy them. Lastly is The Only One Left. I have not read a Riley Sager book, but I know people love him, and my dad actually gave me this for Christmas, and I still have not read it. But I'm going to try to read this month, especially towards the end when we're getting closer to spooky season. This is another book that I did start. I think I only read like 10 pages or so, but what I read so far was really good. It's set in the 1980s, and it's about a caretaker who is sent to take care of this woman who supposedly killed her whole family in like the 1920s, but it hasn't been like completely confirmed. And so there's a lot of like sinister, crazy stuff happening while she's caretaking for this woman, I think. Hopefully this will end off my month of reading strong. So yeah, those are all the books that I plan on reading in August. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please comment down below what you're planning on reading, because I need some more recs, especially because who knows if I'll actually be interested in reading some of those this month. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys next time, and thank you for watching.